Hello Leo, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We are looking at all three sides of the connection, so we've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of this connection and what is the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As I do in all of my readings, I've pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second. But I still have a different tarot deck we'll be pulling from for each side of this connection, as well as the advice deck I'll be using to close out the reading in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, this whole reading can be reversed. So if that is the case for you, that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps, leave what doesn't. All right, Leo, on your side of this connection, you have a magnetic connection with the moon here. So obviously you feel a strong pull to this connection. And I feel like the intensity that this connection brings for you actually starts to provide you with a lot of fear. So if this is a romantic connection, this could be something like, well, I've never felt this way towards another person. Therefore, if this doesn't work out, nothing is ever going to be as good as this could be. Or if it's a friendship, kind of a similar thing. You know, you've never had a connection like this before. You've never felt a connection like this before. So there's this idea that if this connection doesn't work out, nothing better will ever replace it, or nothing will ever be as good as it. So definitely some fear associated with the pull that you have toward this connection, which is natural and normal. This person has past lives with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So it's obvious that this is very much a past life connection for you. You know, when we meet someone that it just feels like we've known them forever, the connection is super familiar, we feel comfortable almost immediately, we have that strong magnetic connection. Sometimes that can be an indication of a past life connection. Now, this Wheel of Fortune in reverse represents this, something about this person's energy for you is karmic. And you can also see that with the overall theme. You have karmic path here. So there's a lesson associated with this connection, which probably has to do with this fear here. But we'll see, we'll tie it all together when we start pulling tarot, because I feel like there's a lot to this. In between this connection, you have actions that speak louder than words with the Seven of Swords in reverse. So if there is, I don't know, I feel like this person's behavior is like speaks for itself. I don't know what that means yet, but that's kind of what I'm gathering. Like with the Seven of Swords in reverse, what you need to know is being revealed through this person's behavior. So paying attention to behavior more than words, which can be really hard. You know, we want to believe people and we want to see people for the good that we see in them. But sometimes we do have to make sure that we take a step back and we focus on behavior and how someone is showing up for us, because that can give us insight into what it is that we need to know. But all of that is just overall energy. So let's take a look here. The Wheel of Fortune in reverse on the bottom of the deck. So definitely something karmic going on here. This is for Leo's side of this connection, please. Doesn't necessarily need to be a karmic connection, but there's a karmic lesson associated with this connection. It could be a karmic connection. This is Leo's side of this connection. Okay, that was weird. Four of Wands in reverse, Page of Cups in reverse. Okay. I first feel this need to give a quick definition of karmic connections or karmic lessons in general. Typically what those are, you know, karmic connections are some of the biggest teachers that we have in this life, because they show us things about ourselves that we might not be able to see in other situations. They can mirror back at us our fears and our insecurities, and just the projections that we have of what we think is possible for us in our life. And so karmic connections are usually kind of having to face some of those things and break the cycle, which I feel like is gonna have something to do with this message. Now, this overall energy, you have the Four of Wands in reverse, the Page of Cups in reverse here. Right out of the gate, what it's saying is this connection hasn't really had a stable foundation since the beginning of it. Now, there's a strong pull. There's a magnetic kind of like maybe chemistry or draw that this connection has. But when it comes to feeling like you can trust this person or feeling like you can be 100% sure that they're going to show up for you, I feel like that's really been lacking. Now, you might be like, no, I trust this person. I feel like you trust them based on the good you see in them, which is why there's a need to pay attention to behavior. I don't know what that has to do with things yet, so bear with me. But I do very much feel like with this Four of Wands in reverse, there's been like this unstable foundation in this connection in general that has made it really hard for you to feel like comfortable and secure in this connection. I feel like that's a lot of this fear playing a role. But we'll dive deeper into that, I'm sure, as we keep pulling. So I'm just going to keep going here, because I feel as if there's this energy of you not feeling, it's like you don't feel totally secure in this. You don't feel totally comfortable in this. Comfortable. I said that weird. Leo's side of this connection. Ooh, okay. King of Cups in reverse. The Three of Wands. Don't love this energy. I want to figure out more of what it's saying, though. Clarifying this King of Cups in reverse energy. And there's the Knight of Cups in reverse. The Ten of Cups in reverse. Oh, this is such an interesting message. Okay. So, one of the biggest kind of themes here is the potential that you see in this person, in this connection. You see very much what this could be. You see very much how good things could get here. And I think that's what I mean by there's this unstable foundation. It's like you see how good things can get, but it just feels like you're always far away from reaching that. Like things have not progressed to that point to where you can kind of, like relax into the connection a little bit. Now with this King of Cups in reverse, the reason I said I didn't like this energy is it feels a little bit like emotionally kind of manipulative, gaslighting-esque energy that I feel like you're receiving from this person, which might be why needing to pay attention to behavior is so important, because this person might be really good with their words. They might be really good at saying what it is that you need to hear, that you want to hear, but then not really backing that up. And I feel like that's what is super triggering for you in this is you have, it's not just that you have unrealistic expectations, because I don't think that at all. I feel like this person sets certain expectations for you in terms of, how they're going to show up, how the connection's going to be, and, with their words. It's like they say all these things, maybe a lot of false promises, giving you kind of false hope, but then not backing it up with behavior. And that's why I said I didn't like that energy very much. And it's interesting because since you have such a strong pull to them, I feel like you have a tendency to maybe want to believe the things they're saying more than like you would believe other people because of the intense connection you have here. But yeah, I I don't love this King of Cups in reverse energy. Leo's side. Ooh. Leo's side of this connection. Four of Swords in reverse, Ace of Wands, the Fool, ooh, Ten of Swords. Could be dealing with another fire sign, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. We also have this King of Cups here, but I feel like that was more of like a message than a, I don't know. It doesn't matter. You know who you're dealing with, but those are the two cards that have come out so far. Okay. So you have, well, had a lot of hope for, I don't know if it's necessarily like a new beginning in this connection or like for things to progress, like waiting for this moment. Again, it feels like you're waiting for this moment in this connection where you can kind of like breathe into the connection, like relax into it a little bit, because it's caused a lot of stress, it feels like, because you've been kind of waiting for things to be stable and things continue to be unstable. You know, maybe this person's kind of, there's a push and pull, wishy-washy kind of energy, and you're going, I don't know what's going to happen. You know, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what this person's going to do. And it's kind of kept you very much on your toes. As Four of Swords in reverse energy, this energy of kind of being pretty drained. Now, I don't necessarily feel like there's been like one big thing this person has done. There could have been, maybe for some of you guys, I mean, these are general readings, but it feels more like this has been over time. Your soul's kind of started to be drained from this because, again, it feels like it's like you've been waiting for this person to back up their words, to back up what they say. But it empty promises. That's what it feels like. It feels like empty. You keep receiving these empty promises, and it's like you get all this hope, which causes you, with the Fool and the Ace of Wands here, which causes you to continue to kind of show up for this and give this all you have, because you're like, yeah, this person said all these things, and it's gonna happen, and they're gonna be there for me, and they're gonna whatever. But then it ends in the Ten of Swords. Oops. The Ten of Swords. It's like, and then you're like, oh, no, we are still in the same place, or right back to where we started, or they still haven't done these things, or they still haven't changed, or whatever the case is. But it just feels like their false hope is like, or the false promises, empty promises, it's really affecting you, and it makes a lot of sense as to why. So let's just see what is going on with them. Let's just see. So you have, there's the King of Wands. All right. Past lives with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. What does Leo need to know about this person's energy toward them? All right. There we go. This person's energy toward Leo. What? Death in reverse. There's another water sign energy with so Queen of Cups in reverse with the Ace of Wands, and then the Death in reverse. That's what's interesting about it. I do feel like they have like the intention. Well, it's like they want to show up for this in the way that you need, in the way that you deserve. Like, I feel like, I don't necessarily feel like they're just flat out just lying to you about the things that they say. Like, I think that in the moment when they say it, they have these intentions, But that when it comes to backing it up with action here, with the Ace of Wands and then the Death in reverse, it's almost like they completely fall back on their word. It's like, I don't know if their emotions get in the way. I don't know if it is so much easier for human beings to stay the same than it is to change. So much easier. In fact, most people spend their lives, staying exactly where they are because it's easier than facing the fear of change. So it's interesting because I don't feel like I said, it's not that this person I think is like just straight up lying to you. But yeah, when it comes down to it, they do not back up their words with behavior. It's like their emotions get in the way here. Which, of course, that's going to drain you because you're getting like whiplash here, it feels like. This person's energy toward Leo. That is entirely too many. Okay, I'll take them. I was going to put them back, and it was like, no, you gotta read them. Okay, I'll read them. So there's the Nine of Swords. We have the Page of Cups in reverse with the Three of Wands. We saw both of those on your energy over here. We saw Page of Cups in reverse with the Four of Wands in reverse, and the Three of Wands with the King of Cups in reverse. Okay. Ooh, okay. The Chariot in reverse and Hermit in reverse. Okay. You know that classic, when someone is afraid to fail, they won't even try, right? Like, if you're afraid of failure and you don't face that fear of failure, you most likely won't even try. You'll kind of just, you choose failure over, trying and failing, if that makes sense. I'm not saying this is you or even them, but applying that energy to relationships, a lot of times when people don't feel good enough or capable of love, or they have too many insecurities in terms of not feeling lovable, or just in general, they're gonna mess it up, or they'll end up getting left, they'll end up getting hurt. When someone has these fears and these insecurities, they will choose to just not invest at all. And it is self-sabotage is what it is. It's sabotaging something before even giving it a chance. Now, that comes with this energy of trying to maintain control, because again, it's easier to stay the same and choose kind of that same path over and over again, as opposed to actually kind of stepping out of your comfort zone and investing in things from a different perspective. So, all of that to be said, all of that to say, this person struggles with just in general, opening themselves up to allowing love in. And the way that manifests could come in so many different ways. But the biggest thing that's kind of coming through here is it's important that you know that I don't think this person is just intentionally being crappy to you. I think that their insecurities and their emotional unavailability kind of kicks in when they try to make these changes, and it causes them to pull themselves back to the safety and security of what's familiar in their behavior. And so that, sure, you can have empathy and understanding for why someone acts the way that they do. But the second thing you need to know is that has nothing to do with you, nor is that your burden to bear. So it's almost like this person doesn't have the emotional availability. They don't have, the ability to kind of open up to you in a way that you're needing and deserving of. you're waiting for that. But then, like I said, kind of last minute, like they don't follow it up with behavior. So I don't know. I think that there's a lot more going on here. And then there's the Seven of Swords in reverse. I don't know. There's a lot more going on here than just what is on the surface of this, which is typically the case with these kind of karmic situations. But let's get more. This person's energy toward Leo. Four of Cups, Hierophant in reverse. Four of Cups, Hierophant in reverse. Okay, hang on. I want more on this. They're focusing on the wrong thing. They need a perspective shift. Four of Cups, Hierophant in reverse. Oh, King of Wands, Five of Wands, Two of Swords. So for this person to, because I feel like you can easily kind of point out their behavior and what needs to change and how it's affecting you, but it feels like this person lacks awareness. Like it's like they need to have a bit of an awakening, like a wake-up call. This person needs a little bit of a wake-up call here, because it's interesting, because with this Wheel of Fortune in reverse, they're kind of stuck in this karmic cycle of their own. Self-sabotage, refusing to change, emotional unavailability. And their karmic cycle is then creating a karmic cycle for you, like between this connection, because you're now taking on kind of the burden of their karmic cycle, which is creating a karmic cycle for you. So that's why I say that there's so much more to this than just like black and white, because I definitely feel like this person has a lot of like growth and like a lot of, this person has a lot of growing up to do, and I feel like you keep waiting for that to happen, whatever that means exactly, but you keep waiting for that to happen, and when it doesn't happen, it's like even more painful than it was the time before. Now, remember, you have such a strong pull to this person, which creates this fear associated with, well, if this person doesn't ever open up, what if they never have this awakening or have this wake-up call, and they never, are able to show up for this in the way that I deserve? I've never felt like this before, so what if I never experience anything like this ever again? That's just fear. It's natural and it's understandable, but that's just fear. Sometimes when we have a strong pull to someone, we'll label them as a twin flame or a soulmate, and we'll say, I really need this person to change or to grow or to heal in order for me to be loved, because they're the only person who could ever love me in the way that I deserve, which then gives them the power. It hands over the key for your ability to be loved to somebody else when nobody holds that power but you. But I get it. It's easy to do, and I've done it before. But we have to kind of learn to pay attention to, understanding that the way that we feel about somebody, the way that, that person, that we have an attraction to that person, or that the intensity that we feel in that connection is not as important as the way that somebody makes us feel, and not through their words, but through their behavior. So if you're constantly feeling like lonely or confused or second guessing your value or your worth, that's what you're needing to focus on more than the feelings that you have for this person, because how someone makes you feel is way more important than the feelings you have for them, because you deserve to both have strong feelings for someone and feel those reciprocated, or at the very least, like, even if that person has those strong feelings for you, like, be dealing with someone who matches your capacity of like love and effort, and isn't kind of stuck in this refusal to try kind of change, refusal to grow up, which I kind of feel this person is dealing with. They're not a bad person. I do feel like they're kind of stuck in just a little stubborn. All right, let's see. Leo's side of this connection. All right. Leo side of this connection. Three of Wands in reverse. No, it's Three of Wands. World in reverse. All right. I mean, there's a lot of waiting going on your part. Waiting on them. Waiting on their wake-up call. Which is keeping you stuck in a cycle. The World in reverse. A cycle that very much needs to end. Because here's the thing. The more that we wait on other people to be able to give us what it is that we need and deserve in connections, the less we're actually giving that to ourselves. Because we're basically saying, in order for me to be loved or supported or respected or cared for or reciprocated, I need you to do XYZ, which completely gives over your power to be, I can figure out which one to take. Completely gives over your power. Wow, these are like so many reverse cards. It's crazy. Completely gives over your power to be loved to someone who, you know, might not be capable of it, which has nothing to do with your ability to be loved. But let's just get more Leo side of this connection. I think false promises are one of the hardest things to deal with in connections because you want to believe people, right? Especially when you care about them, you want to believe them when they say that they're gonna, that things will be different or that they, love and care about you so much. But then, and that might be true, but somebody loving you versus somebody having the capacity to show up for that love are two very different things, and you deserve both. With this Four of Pentacles in reverse, there is very much this feeling of just consistently feeling unsecure in this. Not necessarily insecure, as if like you're just projecting your own insecurities onto the connection. I'm sure that can happen in some forms in this connection. I'm not saying there's none of that, but in terms of like this message, it feels more like it's saying there's just this lack of security that exists here. And I feel like it keeps creating these tower moments. Because it's like you wait for this person to show up and make you feel like as loved and cared for and, respected as they say that you are. But again, behavior speaks so much louder than words. And here's the thing. I'm not saying this person doesn't love, care about, and respect you. But we all have a certain capacity to love. And that capacity, we all have a certain capacity to love, respect, and care for others. And that capacity is going to be a direct representation of our personal journey. We can only love, care about, respect other people to the extent that we do those things for ourselves first. And when somebody has a limited capacity to love and you have a greater capacity than that, it leads to this lack of reciprocation because you're obviously giving so much more out than you're receiving because you have a greater capacity for it. And it's really important that you remember, Leo, that you deserve someone who matches your capacity. Because people who match your capacity are the only people who are going to be able to show up for you in the way that you deserve. You may be used to bare minimum love. You may be used to, kind of receiving way less than you give. But that's not what you deserve. You deserve someone who matches that capacity. And maybe you're waiting on this person to do that, kind of like I said, waiting on them to have this wake-up call. But if the longer that you wait, the more you have completely given them the power to decide when you are going to be able to receive what it is you're looking for. Leo's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Because it's obvious this is hurting you. I mean, We've seen the Three of Swords, we've seen the Ten of Swords, we've seen the Tower. Like, it's obvious that this is having a very impactful effect on you. All right, one more for Leo's side of the connection. Let's see if we can get don't even realize. I mean, we've seen more upright cards. I just feel like I keep taking the reverse ones. Every single card so far is reversed. Five of Swords, Three of Pentacles in reverse. Nine of Cups in reverse. I think one of the biggest things coming through in this reading is to understand that, and I've said this before, I'll say it a million times again, I'm sure, we can't take other people's capacities to love personally. Because if you think about it, it's kind of a silly thing to do, to say you don't love yourself enough to love me in the way that I deserve, and that means that it must have something to do with me, because it doesn't. It feels like it does, and it's easy to feel like it does. That's kind of where the insecurities start to creep in. But, taking somebody else's capacity to love personally is only going to hurt you for really no reason. Because the more that people are incapable of giving you what you deserve, the more the universe is saying, this isn't as good as it can get for you. But oftentimes we look at it as proof that the feelings of being unlovable or not being able to have the love that we deserve, we look at it more as like proof as opposed to like redirection, which I think is really what this is kind of talking about. Because I do feel like this connection has been very triggering for you. And a lot of it, I will say again, stems from this fear that things can never be as good as this could get, which we have a tendency to kind of attach ourselves to the potential of people when we do see the good in them. Because again, I do feel like this person cares about you to their capacity. But instead of showing up in connections and being like, am I good enough for this person? Showing up and being like, is this good enough for me? Because that's what is genuinely the most important thing. Again, it's not about how you feel about them. It's about how somebody makes you feel and whether or not that's good enough for you in the long run, and learning not to argue with people's capacity to love. I think so much of the time when people have a limited capacity to love, we'll turn around and say, well, I'm deserving of more, and we try to show them that. When in reality, someone who doesn't have a capacity to love themselves isn't going to be able to match the capacity to love you. And again, it has nothing to do with you. So the more energy that you waste on trying to prove that you're deserving of more, the less time you actually are going to spend receiving more. But let's get more on more on this person. Oh, hey, an upright card. All right, this person's energy toward Leo. And I feel like this is not just a past life connection, but definitely a past life karmic cycle. Like, this is something that you've maybe dealt with in other relationships as well, not just, romantic or friendships. And it's hard to kind of break cycles, and it's painful to do so, but doing so is the only way to lead you to what you're ultimately looking for. And I feel like that's kind of the point of what this reading is saying. All right, this person's energy toward Leo. The Devil here. Yes. Right? Yeah, that's upright. Devil. Devil, 9 of Cups, 10 of Cups in reverse. So, this might come as a shock to you. They actually do very much desire this connection. They see the potential in it. But it just feels like, this devil to me feels like the devil in them. The part of them that is going to sabotage. The part of them that hasn't healed and hasn't grown. And kind of like that, kind of like a shadow side. It's like, okay, we have to remember 95% of our movement, choices, and decisions stem from our subconscious. Only 5% of the way we interact with our reality is actually conscious level decision making. And our subconscious is going to be, completely made up of how we've internalized our experiences. So experiences from love starting with our parents to relationships in our adulthood, we have internalized certain beliefs about ourselves, such as I'm good enough, or I'm not good enough, or I'm lovable, or I'm not lovable, or love requires sacrifice, or letting people in only leads to pain. We acquire these beliefs about ourselves and about our life depending on what we're used to experiencing. And this person has quite a few of those, that it's like the 5% of them, this conscious decision making, is like, I want to make this work. I want to do what I need to make these changes. But then that the rest of them comes out, like that subconscious, their shadow side kind of comes out, and that's the behavior. I mean, 95% of our movement, choices, and decisions stems from there. And until we address those things about ourselves, until we address that behavior, until we address, what needs to change and decide to make conscious changes, which is not an easy thing to do, because it takes a lot of self-awareness and a lot of willingness to kind of see ourselves in a light that we spend a lot of time not wanting to see ourselves in. But when we do decide to kind of face those things, then those things can no longer control us, but it requires a decision to heal. So yes, this person needs a wake-up call, right? They need to kind of see that there are certain changes they need to make, and I feel like they kind of see these things, but I don't feel like they've kind of brought it into their conscious decision making to say, okay, I'm going to make these changes, because I feel there's too much healing and growth that needs to happen before the change can actually occur. This person's energy toward Leo. It's kind of interesting how they don't feel good enough for you. And I'm not saying you would ever get them to admit that, but on a subconscious level, they don't feel good enough for the kind of love that this connection has to provide, for whatever reason. They've been taught that. They've messed things up in the past before. And I think that that's where you have to understand that you cannot love somebody into loving themselves. You cannot love someone into loving you the right way. We have to learn to take people as they are and make the decision to say, is this enough for me? Is this good enough for me? Is this good for me? I think we often forget to ask ourselves that question. Not, could this be good for me in the future if this person has this wake-up call and makes these changes, but like, is this good for me now? Does this impact my life in a positive way, or is this creating more stress and more misery for me? Because I do feel like this person has a little bit of toxic behavior going on here, especially with that devil energy. And again, that can appear in so many different ways, so I'm not going to necessarily give examples, but sometimes when we get caught up in toxic relationships and toxic, with people who kind of have toxic behavior, we don't really realize that we also are kind of dealing with our own stuff that needs to be faced. And we often will use kind of dealing with people who struggle in these ways as a distraction from facing our own stuff, which is why I feel like this reading is less about kind of like what's going on with them, because yeah, they need to heal, they need to grow, they need to figure some stuff out, sure. But this is also teaching you a pretty deep lesson of realizing that you can't bear the burden of that. You can't take that on. It's not going to be fair to you. You deserve more than what this person is willing to and capable of giving you right now. And so your decision needs to be made based on that, not on what this person has to do to change and be what it is that you need, but like what it is that you need and where they're at right now, because people can only meet you where they're at today. All right, one more. This person's energy toward Leo. I don't feel as if this person's in the best place in their life right now. I'm getting this energy that they're, like with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, that they're pretty unstable. They're kind of a little all over the place in their life. And so I just think at the end of the day, this person has a lot to figure out. And there's a difference between like supporting people who are willing to kind of work on themselves and investing in people who aren't making changes, who are kind of stuck in their own personal cycles, which is what it feels like this person is doing right now. So just making sure that you're asking yourself questions such as, is this person capable of matching my capacity to love? And if not, is this enough for me? Am I waiting on this person to change, or am I happy with the person they are right now? Or am I going to need more from them in order for this connection to be fulfilling? And I think that the more that you can kind of ask yourself those questions, not that a connection can necessarily fulfill us, but it certainly can add more to our happiness and fulfillment and peace, instead of creating more stress and anxiety and chaos in our life. So just being kind of honest with yourself. All right, in between this, you have actions speak louder than words with a 7 of Swords in reverse. I'm going to pull 9 different messages looking at the deeper purpose and the best way for you to move forward in alignment with your higher self, as well as an advice card here in the extended. But before I hop on over, I have an announcement to make. I posted a video about this last week, but I'm going to be mentioning it in all of my videos for the next month. On April 5th at 6 p.m. Central Time, I am doing a live workshop on how to attract the love that you desire and deserve. It is not going to be on YouTube. It's going to be over Zoom. Tickets are required to attend, and seats are limited. And they've been filling up pretty quickly the last couple of days, but there's still plenty of seats left as of right now. All of the information for that is at the top of the description box below. If you cannot make that live event, that is not a problem. The recording for that event will be available the day after the event. So I know that a lot of you kind of live all over the world. So if you're in different time zones or whatever and can't make the live event, you can still have access to the recording, but you still have to purchase a ticket to receive that. So again, all of the information for that is at the top of the description box below. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. My email address is in the description box below as well. Otherwise, thank you so much, Leo, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and obviously resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Leo, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Leo.